COVID-19. We're still having our Wednesday meetings. We thank all of you for joining us. First of all, I want to thank everyone that is joining us, and I hope all of you had a great day today. If you're joining us by Facebook, if you're joining us via Instagram, we thank you so much. I want to give each and every one of you a telephone number that you can call, 857-799-9641. And that is how to join us via telephone. I'm going to say that number one more time, those who didn't get the number. 857-799-9641. Look, we have an excellent panel tonight. Our panel tonight, we're going to be talking about mental illness and some of the effects that have went on in our community during this COVID and that has been in our community. Tonight, I'm very honored to have with us not only our health director, because from day one during this COVID, tonight, Dr. Griffin, who is not with us, who is the director of our Health and Human Services, because she has some other things to do, but again, she's been in the forefront with us also. But tonight, we have two individuals that's going to really give us an idea, and those are out there that's with us this evening that really want to talk about some of the things that has been going on in our community, as I said earlier, with mental illness. And that's no other than Octavia Bradley of Reveal to Heal Consulting and Counseling. And also we have Kimberly Cross, who is a senior at East Orange Campus High School and soon to be a Princeton University freshman. We are excited about that, and I know that the community is. But you know, before we start East Orange, let me just say this. Listen, we know that our government and our governor is starting to open up the stores, start opening up where kids can go back to school. You see different beauty salons and different gyms that's opening up, and you know, we're seeing the numbers of this COVID starting to go down at a rapid pace. But again, I have to remind all of us, although that we're following the CDC and we're following the guidelines of our governor, our health department, and those who are the experts, and we're following the science, I'm just going to ask you, East Orange, let's not rush into judgment. Continue to get vaccinated. Continue to wear those masks, right? I know all of us, especially myself, the summer months are coming, the weather's looking good, and many of us, we want to be out. We want to enjoy our family, we want to enjoy our friends, we want to enjoy the environment around us. Hey, the mayor is not telling you not to do that. What the mayor is saying, and you'll hear from our health officers, is that we have to stay vigilant. In a different way, go out and enjoy yourself, but enjoy yourself in a way that we continue to safeguard ourselves to this COVID is at a level where we can just get back to a normal life, right? Although I always say we'll never be able to get back to a normal life, because during 2020, again, a lot of things happened. Lost a lot of people got sick, and a few people still going into the hospital, and Victor Cote will talk about that. But that is just my small piece to remind all of you, and throwing my 2 cents tonight to make sure that all of you know that in the city of East Orange, we are not going back. But again, tonight, what I want to do very quickly, because I want to get into this conversation about this mental illness, right? And I want all of you out there who has joined us to really get a strong idea about mental illness. We're so proud of Kimberly Cross, because she was one of our young people doing our virtual employment and training job virtual employment, who brought this idea to us and talked about it. So what better way to have one of our experts, Octavia Bradley, and have one of our young folks to have a voice in this conversation tonight. So what I want to do very quickly, because I know everybody ready to get into what's going on with mental illness, I just want to give you the numbers for today, and then I'm going to ask Victor Cote just to give us an update on the vaccination, what the numbers looking like, what the health department and the state is talking about when it comes to the vaccination and how we're doing. Then we're going to go right into our conversation about mental illness. So as of today, East Orange, May the 26th, 2001, we have confirmed 7,103 positive cases and 306 confirmed deaths. In the first ward, 1,205. In the second ward, 1,217. In the third ward, 1,378. In the fourth ward, 1,384 cases. In the fifth ward, 1,474 cases. In Essex County alone, we have 84,356 positive cases, 2,682 resulted in deaths. In New Jersey alone, 886,585 and 23,489 resulted in deaths. So what do that mean, East Orange? Continue to stay masked up. Continue to wash your hands. Continue to practice social distance, especially those around you who are not being vaccinated. And let's protect ourselves each and every day. All right? Here in the city of East Orange. So with that, I'm going to turn it right over to our health officer, Victor Cote, and then, trust me, East Orange, we're going to get right into our mental health conversation because I'm ready for that conversation. Vic?
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, East Orange. At this point, we have about 40% of our residents have received one or both vaccines of any of the Janssen, J&J, or Moderna vaccines. So 29% are fully vaccinated. 11% have received just one dose of Moderna or Pfizer, whichever one they have. But I think we're moving up, and we have expanded our vaccination efforts to all the wards, all the 5 wards we visited, and we are going to revisit them for the booster dose in the coming weeks. On Friday, 28th of May, we would be at the Campus High Auditorium in collaboration with the NCHC to conduct vaccination there. We would also have vaccines for our homebound residents for the second dose of their Moderna shot. We have vaccinated 54 homebound residents at this point. 29 received the J&J vaccine. 25 received the Moderna vaccine, and we are looking to vaccinate more. We are still compiling lists of homebound residents requiring vaccination, and as we move along, we would ensure that all our homebound residents are reached and vaccinated adequately. We also have been working in collaboration with the Mental Health Association in East Orange, the Psychiatric Institute, in Community Psychiatric Institute on Sanford. We have been there to conduct vaccination programs for some of the for staff and all those visiting those programs in those sites and locations. And so we're working with them also to ensure that everyone that works in East Orange, everyone that lives in East Orange has access to vaccination of one sort or the other. And also, at this point, we are also appealing to our residents who have been vaccinated to please continue to maintain social distancing and use masks. The week coming ahead is the Memorial Weekend, and we know some will be traveling. Please ensure that you meet the requirements for the airline requirements for travel, as well as requirements for your destination wherever you're going. Check before you leave, and also check the COVID-19 situation in the destination to which you are headed, just to be sure that it's, at least to get yourself prepared for what you might be required to do in terms of testing and quarantine when you arrive at your destination. Also, we are also recommending that those who have not been fully vaccinated, if at all possible, should delay travel, especially international travel, for obvious reasons. There are still pockets of COVID infection world over, and some of them are variants that are different from variants in the US, and we are appealing to them to take all the precautions necessary so that they don't get infected and infect other individuals in the community. We know that by the end of this week, Friday, and the first week of next month, June, there might be new guidelines for masking and social distancing. I don't want to go into that now. I don't want to preempt what the state is going to say. I think most people already know, but we'll wait until that comes out and we'll bring it back to you again in this program.
Thank you, Vic. And listen, we really appreciate all of your efforts and what you're doing from our health department perspective, because I know how important it is for you to stay on top of all these regulations and all these things that's going on, that's trickling down from the state. So we thank you for that. So listen, if you just joined us, East Orange, I'm Mayor Ted Green. This is our weekly Town Hall virtual meeting. Today is May the 26th. This is our COVID-19 weekly meeting. We thank all of you for joining us. Tonight, we are very honored to have two special guests on our panel. Octavia Bradley of Reveal to Heal consultant, and also Kimberly Cross, a senior at East Orange Campus High School and soon to be Princeton University freshman. So with that, we're going to go right into our conversation this evening about mental illness. And I'm excited about hearing about what's going on with the mental illness and how it affected our communities and urban communities during this COVID and prior to the COVID. So with that, I'm going to go right to our panelist, Octavia Bradley. How you doing, Octavia Bradley?
I'm doing well, Mayor Green. Thank you for having me on the show.
Again, thank you for being here. We thank you for taking time out of your schedule just to be with us to really dig into a conversation that we think that, and so many probably others on this live stream tonight think is so important to talk about. So listen, give us a little background about Reveal to Heal consulting.
Sure. So again, I'm Octavia Bradley. I am the CEO founder of Reveal to Heal Consulting Services. I am a woman of God. I'm a wife, a mother of 5 children, 18, 17, 8, 5, and 4. I am a life coach therapist, an entrepreneur. And Reveal to Heal came about because of the traumatic experiences that I have witnessed growing up as a kid, and the different types of abuse that I have been through. And so when I look to describe Reveal to Heal, I look to describe Reveal to Heal as a family for family. We are about serving our community. We are about breaking generational cycles of abuse, and we are about digging into the community step by step. One of the unique things that I love about us is that each and every one of our staff members and each and every one of our volunteers have not only experienced a traumatic event or have been through abuse, but we also have experienced each service that we put forward to the community. So we are not only a living testament with our academics or our education, we are a living testament through experience. So that's who Reveal to Heal is in a nutshell.
Wow, thank you for that. Listen, we all know that Reveal to Heal also focus on breaking the negative generational cycles of abuse. Can you share some tips on how young people can be the change makers in their family.
Absolutely. Rebuild to Heal is an acronym, and it actually stands for Recognize and Release Each Vicious Episode Attacking Life to Help Every Aspiration Live. A lot of times, our young people, they grow up in an environment that causes so much discord. And they grow up in this environment of negativity. They grow up into this environment of abuse in any way, shape, fashion, or form you can think of. They grow up into this environment. The community environment can have a negative impact on our youth. And so, one of the things that youth should begin to do is just know that they have a voice. Know that they have a voice, and their voice needs to be heard. And so this is something that I needed to learn as a parent with my older children, because the way I was raised, you do what I say, don't do what I do, don't ask me any questions, you just have to abide by what it is I say. And we also grew up with that statement, what happens in this house stays in this house. And so I am a chain breaker, I am a cycle breaker, and I refuse to raise my children in that manner. And so I have to teach my children that you have a voice. I have to teach my children that if there's something happening in this home or in the next home, you are to say something, and I don't care who get in trouble for it. So our youth have to know that they have a voice, and when they speak, they're going to be heard. Their voice is going to be heard. So that's one way youth can begin to break generational cycles of abuse by allowing their voice to be heard and leaving that stigma of what happens in this house stays in this house. Release that, because if someone is telling you not to say anything, that's exactly when you should begin to speak. So allow your voice to be heard. Another part two to that would be, when you allow your voice to be heard, do your very best to take your emotions out of it, right? A lot of times we, especially in the African-American community, we lead with our emotions. We do things because of how we feel. We do things because we are angry and raged. We do things because of that. Well, sometimes, majority of the time, we need to step aside and we need to think about, why am I really upset? And that's what teens need to ask themselves. Why am I really upset? Is it because my mom yelled at me, or is it because my dad didn't come and pick me up? Get to the core of why you're really upset, because when you can answer why you're really upset and allow your voice to be heard, you're demanding your attention and your respect and your authority just like that. Because what happens is, if our teens are coming to us and they're coming to us angrily, and they're like, oh, I want to do this and that, and so now you don't know how to talk, your head is going back and forth, you're so emotionally conflicted, a parent or an authoritative figure, they're not going to pay you any mind. They're going to just react to the emotions that they're seeing. So they're reacting to your actions of emotions as opposed to what it is that you're saying, and you may be 100% right in what you're saying. So I want to tell you to not react, but reflect. Not react, but reflect. And allow your voice to be heard in a respectful manner.
That Octavia, was so really very, very powerful what you just said, because I think that folks out there can really relate to that, how all our lives we was told that whatever goes on in this house stays in this house, or if you see something, don't say something. So I think that is a testament of how many of us in our lives we heard those same words. But listen, tell us, what are some of the biggest myths about mental health, and can you debunk some of those for us, to the people that's on tonight and our audiences, in terms of what we should do and be doing today? So with that, we probably, Octavia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so the question was, what are some of the biggest myths about mental health, and can you debunk some of those for our those who are on our training ordinance that's out here today?
Absolutely. So some of the biggest myths about mental health is that one, therapy is only for Caucasians. So not true. Therapy, counseling, however you want to phrase it, is for everyone. It's for everyone going through something, everyone who has a stressor and don't know how to deal with it, anyone who may have anxiety, anyone who has past trauma and or abuse and has never dealt with it and needs to deal with it so they don't keep passing down the same cycles of this abuse and repetition down to their children, family, and or friends. So that's one of the myths, that therapy is only for Caucasians. No, it's for everyone. Another one is therapy don't work. I tell my clients all the time, therapy works. You just have to find the right therapist for you, and that may mean that means you may have to tell your story over and over and over again, and that's totally okay. You have to think of therapy like shopping. Find yourself always angry and in an uprage and in an uproar, and you just need someone to kind of help you sort things out.
Right.
So you are strong if you go to therapy.
Right. So Octavia, let me ask a question. Don't want to cut you off because, you know, now things are ringing in my head. Right. Why do you think that stigma it's just you know, happens right here in the urban community, in the African American community, black and brown community? Why do you think that stigma for us to go when we need help, to go to counseling, that I'm not going to say a majority of people feel that it's something wrong with it? Why do we have that stigma on us if we need help or we need counseling or we want to talk to somebody, that there's folks that may say, well, if you go, then people may think something wrong with you? Why is that stigma so thick in our community?
Because this is something that has been, this is before our time, this is something that has been passed down from generation to generation. That statement, what happens in this house stays in this house, is strong in the African American community. And we are a proud people. And we have always been told to be strong. We have always been told to suck it up. We have always been told that you can handle it, or don't worry about it, or don't say anything, and you will get over it. We have always, it is now embedded in our genes. It is embedded in our DNA by being passed down from generation to generation that we are this type of people, and we don't need anyone else in our business. We don't need anyone else judging us. We don't need anyone else looking down on us. So therefore, we're going to work it out. We're going to do the best we can, and everybody else around us is going to be quiet and just keep it pushing.
That's deep. That's deep. You know, listen,
Yeah.
look, during this pandemic, our community has been really effective, right? Give us your perspective on, you know, especially economically, and can people who lost so much, including their loved ones and so many close friends, and looking on TV and just being around each other, how can we open back up and recover from that? What should we be doing? You know, look, as the mayor, you know, and many mayors and many other elected officials and doctors and nurses and other professional people had to do a lot. You know, how do we recover from that? What would be your advice right now if you had to sit in a room with a group of professional people who say, look, you know what, Sister Octavia, I'm good. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm getting around. I'm going back to work. What is your best advice for someone like myself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the first thing I would definitely tell everyone, let's start with COVID. Let's start with the name. Let's start with hearing pandemic, just hearing it. Let's start with seeing the word coronavirus. Let's start with that. Because when we see it, when we hear it, when we say it, it automatically puts fear into our body.
Mm-hmm.
It automatically puts fear into our mind. And we automatically think death. We automatically think it. We don't try to think it. It just so happens to happen because of how many people died by COVID in the very beginning. And how many people were just dropped. We have been traumatized and scarred just with the word itself. By seeing, hearing, and listening to it. And saying the word. We have just been scarred. So I would tell you that you have to now reprogram your mind. You have to reprogram your mind, and when you see COVID, when you hear COVID, when you say COVID, you have to think defeat, because you have defeated it. That doesn't mean that we don't live in that we are not prevented, because we still have to be prevented. This is just the way of life right now. We have to be prevented. We have to wear our masks. We have to keep washing our hands. We have to keep social distancing. Get the vaccine if you're able to get the vaccine. Go see your doctor first. But we have to make sure that we are being preventive, but we have to make sure that we are not allowing just the word itself to put fear in us, allowing us just to exist in the world as opposed to overcoming what we have overcome. We have overcome COVID. We have to now just take the measures to prevent COVID from happening. And we have to also look at, there's people who have COVID and they are living fine. They are fine. And so we have to stop living in this bubble and in this shell, and we have to begin to keep living our lives cautiously and taking those preventive measures. I'm a living testament. My family had COVID, and in my household, and it's about 8 of us in my household, and only 3 of us didn't. And so we had COVID, and we were able to overcome. No one had symptoms. No one was sick, thanking God. No one fell victim to COVID. And we caught COVID around Thanksgiving. We caught COVID because we were in the community, helping the community around Thanksgiving, giving out food.
Right. Wow.
So
wow.
what's still going on, and we have to be preventive.
Yes.
In the things that we do.
Yes. And listen, I agree with you 100%. But Octavia, I just want you to hold that thought, because we're gonna go right to our young soldier and young queen from East Orange Campus High School, Kimberly Cross, and we're gonna bring her in because I want to give both of you a chance after she give her spill and talk about what her what peer coaching program is, and talk about her experience with our SWEP program and why she came up with this idea. And then I want to ask her about, I want to ask her some questions. So with that, Kimberly, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Mayor?
I'm good, Kimberly. Kimberly, I listen. I know you heard what Octavia was speaking about, and I know you took a lot in. So I want to just come right to you. Tell us about the peer coaching program that would be part of this year's SWEP program, and why do you think this was an important addition to the program?
Okay, no problem. So, Jamila T. Davis created this class, this Earn to Learn class, where we would learn about self-care, learn about mental health, and about how to just take care of your body, your mind, and everything that comes with it. So we spent those weeks learning about different coping mechanisms. We learned about how she took care of herself when she was in the lowest point of her life. She gave us her book, she gave us different tips. And after that, we saw like drastic changes in how we behaved, how we felt mentally. So we're just like, why should we let it end here? So we're just like, why don't we continue this in the summer? So myself and other people, other children who were there, we're just like, why don't we add this to the SWAT program? So Jamila consulted with her people, and we got it for the SWAT program this year. And why is it important? I feel like mental health is a foundation for everything. if you don't have a good mental health, you don't take care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to function properly.
Yes.
You won't be able to do your daily activities properly because you need that good mental health to make sure that you're okay, make sure you're not suffering on the inside. Because it doesn't make sense to do all this work. You push yourself out there and do everything, and you come home and you're not feeling good mentally. You're eventually going to break. So I feel like embedding this and like normalizing it will like help kids to be able to like internalize and understand and interpret their feelings, emotions, and like their mental illness. Because like Octavia said, like mental health is has like this bad stigma attached to it when it shouldn't. Like going to therapy shouldn't be a bad thing. Learning about mental health shouldn't be a bad thing or a weird thing. It is necessary and it's human life. So that's why I think it's important.
Wow, that was beautiful. Listen, we know young adults and your age, your peers have been under a lot of pressure, during 2020 and part of this year, right? And last year, especially your seniors in high school. How have you been coping with the ripple effects of this pandemic? How have you been dealing with it, and how do you feel that your peers have been dealing with it? And the second question to that, how have you, as a leader, been helping your friends in terms of coping with mental illness and just helping them out of this whole piece and situation with this pandemic?
Yeah. I have to be honest with you, like the entire pandemic, like doing virtual school, all of that has not been easy.
Right.
But of course, I've made it through. I've made it through so far. So especially as seniors, we have a lot on our plate right now, or we've been having a lot on our plate. We have college, we have to apply to colleges, we have to finish our senior year strong, community service hours, extracurriculars, your personal life. Some of these kids even have jobs. They have to take care of their families. They have to take care of their siblings. Some of them have parents or the people that have COVID. They have a lot of stuff going on, and they also have school. They have to go to school. They have to learn. They have to get good grades. So it's been a lot, especially during the pandemic with virtual school. Like for me, I know it's been like very repetitive, having to like wake up every day, turn on your computer, be on the computer for 8 hours straight, just looking and doing meetings, Zooms after Zoom, Google Meets after Google Meets. It has been really repetitive, and I know that many seniors or the students in general have felt like loss of motivation because they're doing the same exact thing every day. They lost that in-person touch. Like you can't see your friends, you can't see your teachers, you can't have that one-to-one interaction. So it's definitely taken a toll on a lot of people, especially people who don't necessarily have that like self-discipline to like keep on track of time or keep track of their assignments, keep track of their grades. So yeah. So I think I've got the good end of the stick. I've been able to accomplish a lot while in the pandemic and while doing virtual school amidst everything. I know some people may not have that same experience because some of them may have like Wi-Fi issues. Some of them may not learn well when it comes to virtual learning. People rather learn at school. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to like help a lot of kids as much as possible. Like the Social Justice Union had Wellness Wednesdays where they had like a licensed therapist come in and talk to the kids about mental health or anything that they wanted to talk about, any trauma that they're facing. So we had that in place. We also had we tried to keep everybody distracted about how the pandemic is going on. We kept our various activities and or social justice activities to try to ease up the the tension when it comes to the pandemic and virtual learning. Also, I have been helping the juniors as well to get ready for college. I had a program where it was called the Quest to Quest Bridge because I got into Princeton. I basically taught a bunch of juniors how to basically write their application, how to write their essays, what potential aid, stuff like that. Because a lot of people, I knew when I was doing the college process, I didn't know what I was doing. Especially as a new person in the country, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing it by myself. I was like a lost puppy. So I decided to use the knowledge that I learned to help the upcoming juniors. And a lot of them got into the program, which I'm really excited for. So I'm just going to keep helping them and keep if anybody needs any help, I'm always willing to help them. So that's what I've been doing so far.
Wow, that is very impressive, and we thank all of our young people who basically became the heroes along with the heroes, because we knew how much all of you had to do. And I'll be honest, y'all have done a fantastic job doing the this whirlwind of this COVID, and we are so proud of all of you, because actually all of you become those heroes along with the heroes, So we thank you for that, and thank you for your tenacity of being who you are, and your determination and making sure that during this COVID that you worked with your peers, and that you didn't just take a selfishly role and say, you know what, I'm just going to do enough to do what I have to do for yourself. That's what shows the leadership, and that just shows how that you was, you just as a human being, and as a young lady here in the community and here in the city of Beach Thorn. And listen, do you feel that there's light at the end of the tunnel? See, when I used to come on these virtual meetings, I quite often told my community that, listen, we know for a fact things are hard. We know that fact that we are all going through something, but I know for a fact that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Let's talk about the end of the tunnel. Do you think there's light after this COVID, Kimberly?
Yes, I definitely agree. And I feel like it all starts with mindset. Because a lot of people kind of like see stuff and see it negatively. That's the first thing that their brain goes to. So like, okay, this is gonna be negative. We're gonna suffer. We're gonna do this and that. But what I learned, especially in my self-care class, is just you have to change your mindset. You have to like see the glass half full or not half empty. You have to see things positively, and you have to like keep that whole thing in your head. Like things don't happen to you; they happen for you. So I definitely feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like we are getting to some form of like normal, like going back to normal. Like schools are reopening, stores are reopening, different establishments are reopening. We have vaccines. Who would have thought? Like we had vaccines, people are taking vaccines, and the CDC are now releasing more like less strict guidelines. So I definitely see there's light at the end of the tunnel, but everybody needs to play their part. Like continue social distancing, of course. Take the vaccine if you're able to do so, or you have ability to do so, and just if everybody plays their part, definitely we can see we're going back to normal, going back to having out with friends, hanging out with family, having a normal, I guess, community and stuff like that. So there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. It just has to be a change in mindset, and everybody needs to play their role.
So what advice can you give your peers right now in terms of really taking care of themselves, really thinking positive? Because, and I'm glad you embarked on that, because, even the last year and these few months, we've been coming on these virtual meetings. We've been meeting with so many people. We wanted to make sure that we had positive people come on the virtual meetings and the information that we was providing. And when you talk about staying positive, we quite often see folks even come on these virtual meetings with just negativity, but no solutions. So, as a young person, I'm glad you see how important it is for young people and adults to stay positive, to concentrate and stay focused on, just positive things and not negative things. So what advice can you give your friends and your peers in terms of taking care of themselves and staying positive?
So for me, like this mental health self-care thing is still a learning process, so I still have things to learn. But what I learned is that you have to, like, of course school is important, of course academia is important, of course everything else, taking care of all this stuff is important, but your mental health is just as important. Like you need to prioritize your mental health as much as you prioritize like your going on social media, stuff like that. Your mental health is just as important. So what you need to do is like take time during the day, take pockets of time during the day to take care of yourself or focus on yourself. Or even like take a day off if you need to. Listen to your body and figure out what it needs. So what I have been doing and what I recommend for people is I start off my day with like affirmations, the whole like positive mindset. So I try to tell myself that today is going to be a good day, because your mindset and how you wake up and how you feel is what determines the rest of your day. So I wake up with positive affirmations. I also, when I have time, of course, I write in my journal and stuff like that. Like, you write out how you feel and how you can address it. I also do meditation. I also like, you can also find different things that you're passionate about. Do things that you enjoy. So if you enjoy swimming, go swim. Go find the time to swim. If you like painting, go buy some art supplies and go paint. If you like going outside, go get some fresh air. Of course, COVID safely, but find things that you're passionate about and do them. Like, do things that make you that you enjoy. Because this is a stressful time, and you're gonna need, like, having things that you enjoy, doing things that you enjoy, is gonna like ease that like harshness that comes with the pandemic.
Yes.
So I definitely think, like, one, your mindset, like, change how you view things. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So you need to like keep that mindset and just find things that you're passionate about, and do things that you enjoy, and just find time to prioritize yourself. Like, always prioritize yourself. Don't be giving out your entire stuff to other people while still not giving that attention to yourself. So yeah, that's my advice to all my friends and all my peers.
Wow, I'm gonna give my friends that same advice, Kimberly, because I like that advice. But listen, I know that you'll be starting school this September. Would you be going remotely, or would you going in person this fall? And what is your feelings about starting remote classes on that college campus? How are you feeling about that? Since since many of you have been working remotely at home and doing a great job, and now we see the state of New Jersey open, and then you're going down to Princeton. Yeah. How do you feel about being in person in class?
I'm actually, yeah, so I will be in person for the fall. We're going to have classes in person. I'm excited for it. Like, I can't wait to go back in the classroom. I miss the classroom. I'm one of those persons that like that one-on-one interaction, because most of the time, most of my social interactions come from school, which is why I enjoy it so much. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to going in person. I just hope that the teachers are as lenient when it comes to like students, because we haven't been in school for like over a year, so teachers and like the staff can expect us to drastically change into that in-person feeling and stuff like that. So I definitely think that if everybody plays their role and stuff like that, it's gonna be a smooth transition, but it's just something that we have to ease into. But I'm definitely looking forward to having that in-person, like, feeling that for in-person, like, teaching, because I miss that, and you don't get that from Zoom. You don't get that for that one-on-one thing. It's very repetitive, and the whole like going to different classes and stuff like that, moving about, definitely is stuff that I miss from class. I don't like sitting in my room all day. It gets repetitive, and you kind of lose motivation. So I'm definitely looking forward to going to school, because it gives you that like normalness that I've been missing. So yes. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited for all of you also. We really are. I know how important it is for our young people to just be able to, like I say, breathe, and be in there with some new faces, and you look around the room, you ain't on Zoom, you ain't on a virtual, you ain't on live screen. I know that's going to be different. But listen, Kimberly, thank you so much for what you expressed to us. I want to jump back to Octavia and jump back to you. So what I want to do, just for a few minutes, I want to ask Connie, I know that normally we got folks on our line that has some questions for you. We're maybe going to do like 2 or 3, and we're not going to hold folks long tonight. And then we're going to have Victor close out. We're going to have both of you do a closing. But before then, Connie, let's go to the lines and who's on our lines, and give our panelists some questions that are being asked.
Okay, and we really just have only a few tonight, but this one would be from Miss Bradley from Anne Marie Benderson Williams. She says it's great to have a conversation on mental illness, and she says she was surprised about the lack of resources to assist people in our community. So, Ms. Bradley, I'd like for you to address that question and talk about some of the resources that we do have.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your question. So, Reveal to Heal, we have a number of services. We provide a number of services. We provide counseling for individuals, families, and couples. We provide workshops for anger management, parenting classes, life skills, and mentoring. We also we have a domestic violence theory workshop that we provide in the month of October, and we also had a COVID conference in November addressing these issues. And so those are the services that we provide. We provide this other service called Blend, and this is a service that is near and dear to our hearts as well. It stands for Believe, Love, Evolve, and Never Destroy. And I must say, Ms. Octavia Corbett, she really heads this Blend service. And what that does for our families is we work to blend our families together in a sense of we have a lot of, not only young adults, we have a lot of individuals who have children with men who then the children are in the middle. So if the mother is mad at the father, then the father can't see the child and the child can't see the father. And we have this tough war going back and forth. So we want to come into those homes and we want to help you blend your families together. So we want the mother and father to be on the same page. We want the girlfriend and the boyfriend of the mother and the father to be on the same page. We want the step families to be on the same page. So that way we're teaching them that it takes a village. That you can't do it by yourself. So we have to, get out of our own head, get out of our own feelings, and allow the village to help out with this child and to help raise this child so this child can have a chance. And so once this child sees the parents are working together, it definitely makes a huge, huge difference. And so providing these services to the community, we see that it's a need for each and every service that we have. They are willing to come into the home to work with you, especially with parenting and anger management. We're willing to do that. We have our offices located at 2130 Maplewood, 2130 Milburn Avenue in Maplewood. And so our goal is to not only give back, but our goal is to help you break that cycle of generational repetition so you can live your best life and be the best person that you were called to be.
Great, great.
Victor, can you address if the city's health department has some services available for mental illness and also maybe some others in the area in East Orange? Like I know the hospital specifically has a behavioral health division.
I think the East Orange General Hospital has a behavioral center. Actually, it operates as a behavioral center, and I think it's a good source of resources. In East Orange, we have the Mental Health Association on Main Street, and there's some other office on Evergreen Place. And then we have the Community Psychiatric Institute on Sanford, I think it's 6567 Sanford Street in East Orange. These are very important places and locations in East Orange that address mental issues.
Okay. Victor, I'm not sure how you'll answer, but let me just ask. So Dana Jackson wants to know, how can she keep her vaccination card from getting torn and ripped if it cannot get laminated? Because I guess they're saying you can't laminate them?
Yes, you can laminate them.
Yes.
Okay.
But some people do. I mean, I know they said something like, was it Staples was accepting lamination or doing laminations, but some people say you shouldn't laminate them. If you can get a plastic pouch to put one in, that would be great. The other thing is to take photographs front and back and put on a cell phone.
That's what someone recommended that online. And then this is another question from Ms. Jackson. What do you do if you lose your card?
Okay, if you lose your card, first thing you want to find out, where did you get vaccinated? Was it by the Essex County or the East Orange Health Department? If you come to our office with your name, date of birth, date of vaccination, we can go back into the system and actually reconfirm. And if we can verify it, we should be able to issue another card.
Okay. And Shirley McClinton Watson She says she trusts that all students will be vaccinated prior to returning to full person instruction in September. I have not heard that. Victor, can you address that?
Yes, at this time I know that, or I'm informed that the School Board of Ed is in the process of arranging for vaccination for students and their staff. Especially, I think they are going through ShopRite, and we are also looking to collaborate with them along those lines to ensure that this is done, covers all our students.
But would it be mandatory?
Maybe not, but they would need parental consent.
Okay. Okay, that's it, man.
Great. So, to my panelists, Kimberly and Octavia, what we want to do, because we at that time where we're just grateful for this panel tonight with mental illness, and I want to come back. I do want to ask Octavia, what are some recommended steps or techniques one can do to begin improving the quality of their life after having some mental breakdowns? What are some of the techniques that we can do?
First and foremost, we want to recognize it. We want to recognize that there's something abnormal going on within us. We want to recognize the feelings that we have to those abnormal, to the abnormal thoughts that we're having, to the abnormal feelings that we have. We want to recognize the behaviors that we're doing. We want to know what stresses us out. We want to recognize our stressors. A lot of people will say, well, you're a parent, so you shouldn't be stressed because your children are doing what they're doing. And, you as a parent should be able to have a grip on that. That's not true, because parents get stressed all the time, and those children are being children does not mean that we should minimize how we are feeling by the behavior of our children. You want to also recognize your triggers. You want to recognize what's triggering you. Is it something from the past? Is it something happening in your present? You want to make sure that you are in tune with the now. You are in tune with the present day, and recognize if you're safe or not. If you're safe, if you're even safe from yourself. So what does that mean? Am I drinking? Am I overeating? Am I not eating enough? Am I abusing my body in any form? You also want to take advantage of the things that make you happy. Just what Kimberly was mentioning earlier. Recognize your passions. Know the things that relieve you. A lot of times we don't know that. Take time for yourself. It's extremely important that you take time for yourself. Me having 5 children, being homeschooling, and making sure that everything and everyone is in place and everyone is at their computers, it becomes stressful. So every day I go out to my car. I can't go far, but I go out to my car. I will put music on, and I will just go into my car and I take deep breaths. I will go into my car and just listen to some uplifting music for me, because that's my time away. What my children started doing was they recognized that I started going to my car, then they went to the window, and they're like, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. So then I'll just put a sign up. So these signs, I drew my hands on a paper and put it up to the window, and the sign means Mommy's on in 10 minutes. And so they're starting to get used to that, and so they're walking away from the window because I need that time to just breathe. So we need to make sure we're taking time for ourselves, recognizing what makes us happy, and do it. Don't put it off, do it. And recognize who drains you. Like when you are talking to friends and you're hearing a gossip and you're hearing this, or you're giving advice to other people. Know that you too, while you're pouring out to others, you also need to be filled up. And so if you don't have anyone around you that's filling you up, that should tell you something, because you have to step back from certain people. And it's okay that you release certain people from your life, whether it's family or friends, biological or not. It's okay, because your sanity is more important, and you have to see that you are worth more.
Wow, that's dynamite. That is very that's very filling and important. Kimberly, if you had to close out with some advice for your peers, for us adults, and for the community, what would you close out with?
Okay, so for my peers, I definitely think definitely change your mindset. So if you tend to be like a negative person, try to like see things in a positive aspect or in a positive light. Try to see things that like, don't think that everything's happening to you. Like I said, things don't happen to you; they happen for you. And for adults, like um, when you see like your children or like younger people that are going through stuff, or they mention that they're stressed out, or they feel depressed, or they feel sad, don't try to invalidate their feelings and saying, "Oh, what are you doing to be sad? You don't have to work, you don't have to pay bills, stuff like that." Listen to them. Don't invalidate them. Like try to listen to what they're going through because they're going through stuff that we have a lot of stuff going through, to be honest. So try to invalidate them. Don't try to like dislike them or try to like make them feel inferior. Listen to them and stuff like that. And as a community, I feel like everybody needs to remain hopeful and everybody needs to play their part and do what they need to do. And then we can definitely see that light at the end of the tunnel. So that's my 2 cents and my advice.
Well, that's more than 2 cents, Kimberly. I love that. It's 10 cents, 15 cents, 25%. That was a great just reminder for all of us to your peers and to our adults. I really think that. Thank you for that. So Octavia, we thank you so much for being here with us. I want to come back again and have another part 2 of the mental illness conversation. We're going to ask you to close out with whatever you want to close out with, whatever advice you want to give us. If you want to give us a few numbers that the folks that are joining us tonight to call, feel free.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So just thanking you again for having me on the platform. Kimberly, it's been such a pleasure to just hear from you and to hear your motivation and just to hear how you are actually using your self-care that you have been learning and that you continue to learn. So keep on pushing that forward. I definitely, it was just awesome to be on the same platform with you. So I definitely want to give you a contact number for Rebuild the Hill. It's 973-850-9554. I will repeat that number, 973-850-9554. And guys, just really remember that you are not your past. That it is time for you to recognize anything that you have been through in your past that is still holding you back right now in your present and stopping you from truly reaching your future. Remember, everyone can wear a mask. The question is, are you going to take your mask off? And what I mean by a mask is that everyone walks outside and everyone is outside of their home smiling and pretending to be okay. But the mask has to come off sometime. And the question is, who are you when that mask comes off? And so I'm just here to let you know that Rebuild to Heal and all of these special consultants, we're here for you. You can call us at any given time. We're answering the phone. We're getting right back to you less than 24 hours. And we provide an array of services for everyone. And so it does not matter where you reside because we provide services for everyone. Just call us and see what service is best for you. We also have, and I would love for Kimberly to partake in that, we have a youth group and we have a youth care support group. And it's just amazing because so many youth are coming in for counseling. So many youth are tugging on their parents, saying they need to talk to somebody. They can't talk to the parents. They need to talk. And I commend those parents who are listening and allowing their child to come in for services and coming in to seek help. And it doesn't stop with just that individual counseling. They're now a part of the group because they need that support. You guys need the support. So I definitely thank you for allowing us to just have this discussion here today as it is very needed and very necessary. And so I just thank you all. I thank Tobia for this, Tobia Corbett for the connection and the partnership with her being our resource community recruiter. I definitely thank her for partnering and networking in the community to allow all of this to happen. So thank you, Tobia, for that, and thank you, Mayor Green, again for having me.
Thank you so much for being just a part of this conversation tonight. We truly appreciate you. I love when you talked about the mask, right? That people have been wearing this mask during COVID for the last year and these few months. But to be honest with you, folks been wearing a mask way before COVID. And with the advice that you have just given us and our young queen, Kimberly, it's time to take off those masks. It's time for folks to understand their potential and understand that if you need help, get the help. So with that, I am truly, because I soaked in a lot tonight, and I want us to come back for another conversation, part 2 of this mental health piece, because I think it's so needed in our community, even more today. We want to get more of young people on to hear it. We want to get more parents on. I want to connect with our school district. I want to connect with our faith institutions. I want to connect with the hospital. I want to get a panel of people, and we're going to have to talk about this illness in our community. So with that, I'm going to ask Vic to close out, and then I'm going to close out, and then we're going to tune right back in next week to our weekly show. Vic, you want to close out with anything?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that our vaccination program is still ongoing. The whole of the month of June will be going from one ward to another to vaccinate. Please, these are opportunities to get vaccinated. And we are also asking homebound residents, if you have any family member, friend, or relation who is homebound, please also have them registered with the health department. You can call the number 973-266-5480 to have them registered and vaccinated. Or you can call the senior services 973-266-8832 to get them registered as well. You would always find someone in our front office, 973-266-5480 or 5490, to also give you information as to where within the city we are vaccinating at any day and time. Also, if you are living outside East Orange, in Orange, we also have a collaborative program with Orange sometime in June to conduct vaccination within the Orange municipality. That information also you can get from our front office. Also in June, we have collaborations with the the city of Irvington, to vaccinate residents in Irvington, East Orange, and Orange. So please, you can avail yourself of this opportunity to get vaccinated. And please, if you are traveling this weekend, if you are unvaccinated, my suggestion is to delay traveling. And whether or not you are vaccinated, please maintain social distancing, put on your mask, wash your hands frequently, and use your hand sanitizer. Thank you, Mayor.
Vic, thank you so much. Listen, with that, again, Kimberly Cross, thank you so much. Octavia Bradley, thank you. Kimberly, we're so proud of you and all our young people in our community. We quite often, from day one that I walked into office, made sure our young people have a platform to have a voice in this community. We want you to know, and so many others, you will always have a voice in this community because you are the fabric of this community. And there's nothing this administration can do or trying to do without our young people being a part of what we do. So we thank you so much for being a part of it. And Octavia, continue to do what you're doing. I'm just hearing about your organization and your consulting group. I want to come back to this conversation. As I said earlier, we thank you for all the information that you gave out. Please continue to follow us on our Facebook page. And if you want to post things on there to give advice to our community, please do so. Victor Cote has been doing a great job along with Dr. Griffin and our health department and the entire staff. I thank my staff for what they do each and every day, but more so every Wednesday preparing our meeting. We got Audrey here who constantly with us with our sign language. So with that, East Orange, we thank all of you for joining in tonight. We ask God to continue to bless all of you, continue to bless your families, continue to bless this community, and make sure that you as a community continue to embrace each other. We did so well during this COVID by reaching out to each other, calling each other, making sure we check on each other. We're reaching out to our neighbors. Those gestures should not stop because we're coming out of this pandemic. If we was doing that just for a whole year, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our community, taking care of our friends, taking care of our neighbors, come on, East Orange, let's continue that vibe, right? Don't let it go away. Let's continue what we've been doing and know what we have to do and know how to do it. It's because all of you that we're at where we're at today and coming out of this tunnel to see a better light is because of that East Orange pride. Let's keep that East Orange pride, East Orange. May God bless you, may God bless your families, and may God bless the city of East Orange. And I'll see y'all very soon.